Today I'm working on my 2002 Lincoln LS, and what it needs is a new door check. So when you open the driver's side door, the little door check is supposed to keep the door from swinging all the way open, and that has been broken, so now I'm gonna go ahead and change it out. So here's where it is. It's tucked in there now. It's usually extended out and connected to those bolts right there, and you can see since the car is 20 years old, it's just fatigued over time. So I did get a new one, and this is what it looks like, and I'm going to replace that today. It should be pretty simple because it's really only the two bolts that are right there, and there are two nuts over here that you can't see right now, but that hold it on as well. I guess the most difficult part is just getting the panel off, so I can get my hand in there and get the nuts out on this other side. I might have to also take the speaker out to be able to reach in there and pull the unit out, but we'll see. We'll start getting on there. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take these bolts out, and this is where the old piece was still connected. You can see pieces of it under the bolt, so we'll take that off first, and then we'll get to what we need to do to take the panel off. I've taken the panel off before because I've done the window regulators. It's been a while, but I don't remember it being that difficult, so we'll get to that next. So I think for the panel, it's just several bolts on the bottom down here. I mean, screws that need to come off, and then I might have to go ahead and remove the little cover here, and I remember there's a screw under there that needs to come off, and I think this panel, I don't 100% remember, but it could be two pieces. I might be able to take the bottom off, which is this lower half, without having to take the top off, but the top's not that hard to take off once you get a couple screws from the top as well. So let me see if I can just take the bottom off, and then I'll get inside there. If not, I'll have to take the top and bottom off. All right, so looking underneath, we've got 1, 2, 3 Phillips head screws to take off. So we'll go ahead and do that first, and then we'll get to the rest, which will be popping the panel. So I have one of these to use for going around the panel, and you can just put it in the side of the panel here, and then pry going around the outside, and that should pop those little fasteners out that are on the panel. You might want to just be careful where it's painted. Sometimes I put a rag behind it, so when you go ahead and put some leverage on it, you're not scratching up the paint around the door panel. So I did wrap this tool in a rag, and then went ahead and put the tool in, and then pulled up. So I was able to free up the bottom going around, but it's still tight going across the top. So there is a screw right here that I'm going to take off, and I remember right, there's a screw hidden in here that I'm going to have to get to, which I think this black piece ends up just popping out, and then possibly, like I was saying before, getting in this little compartment and pulling a screw off of there. So let me start working on that. All right, so your screws are going to be different sizes. So we just loosened this one, and that one compared to the ones I took out from the bottom of the door, obviously you can see the difference in length. So just try to remember where you took them from, label them, or put a piece of tape on them, put them in a bag, do whatever you have to do to remember. All right, so now I'm gonna try to just quick pop this up. So I got a small screwdriver. I could stick it in the side and go ahead and pop it open. All right, so it looks like 2 screws are in there. So let me go ahead and undo those. All right, so next I want to pop this black trim piece off. So again, using my little screwdriver, just coming in from the top and then pulling forward, and that should now be able to slide off. So you can see we do have a screw back here, just one that is connected to the panel. So I'll go ahead and undo that, and then we'll see if we can pull the rest of the panel off. Alright, so then just go ahead and work around the outside and pulling the panel away. If I remember right, it kind of sits up and in on the top here, going around. So you can pull away and a little bit up, and that'll take it off. So I'm gonna need 2 hands to do this, but let me see how that goes. All right, so I'm getting close. I had to roll the window all the way down because there are some fasteners on the top that go down the rail here. So they were giving me a little trouble, but once you get the window down, if you have a tool like this, you can get it right in there and pull those fasteners away. So it looks like we're almost at the end. All right, so we got all the fasteners undone. The 2 that were giving me the most trouble were this one here and this one down here, which you can see is still in there, but came off the little the retainer, like this one, this plastic thing. So I'll pull that one out and put it back into the retainer. But now I think I probably have to just disconnect a few wires, and that panel will come off. All right, so here, pulling it back a little bit, now that all the retainers are off, there will be 2 wires that wiring harnesses that I can disconnect. One of them is right here, and the other one is right here. And this has a little clip, so that was actually clipped onto the door. That little clip right down here, kind of hard to see, was clipped onto this piece of plastic right here. So that's just holding them bundled together right there on the door. So don't forget to just put that back when you're putting this whole thing together. All right, so there's actually 3 harnesses. I forgot about this one here. So there's a little tab right here, so you just push down on the tab, and that one's for the seats, the memory and the seats. Then you've got that one right there, which is for the door locks. And then you got this one, this green one over here, which is for your windows. So figure out how to get that one. All right, so the little green one for your windows, there's a tab. Oops. There is a tab right here that you push down on, and then it'll come out. So now you've got all the harnesses out of the way. We can go ahead and move the panel out of the way. There's still a couple clips holding this wire in. I don't think I need to undo all that stuff, but we'll see. All right, so now I've got this little membrane here that you just pull out of the way, and I think what I can do is just go ahead and take the speaker out and have enough room to get my hand up behind this to be able to pull the door check out once I undo the 2 screws that still need to be taken off that are holding that in place. So we'll go and pull the speaker off. A lot of screws on here. I think these Torx bit screws that I'm seeing are the ones that are holding the speaker in place. So we'll go ahead and work on taking those off. All right, so I just have one more screw to take off, and then I should be able to get the speaker out. These are T20 Torx screws. So let me go ahead and pull that out, and then I should be able to pull the speaker right away from the bracket it's on, and see if there's enough room to get a hand in there. So once you get all the speaker bolts out of there, then the speaker is connected with electrical connection. Just go ahead and disconnect that. It's an easy disconnect. You just have a tab on the back side that you need to squeeze, and then it'll release the connector from the speaker. So now the next thing would be to be able to remove the bolts that are holding the door check in place right over on this side of the door. So I'm just gonna try to zoom in a little bit so you can see what that looks like. So the bolts are right in here, and I did already take them off. So you can get a 10mm deep socket on there and take them off, or you could get one of those swivel head things for your socket wrench, and that'll be able to get a regular socket in there too. And you'll have plenty of room with the door all the way open to be able to ratchet those off. So that's how that works. The other thing is that now that the bolts are off, what I'm gonna have to do is get my hand in here. It's pretty tight fit, but I can feel the backside of the door check, so I might be able to just pull it through. If you can't fit your hand in there, you can see the window is right here. You might be able to roll up the window, so you'll have to reconnect the harness, roll up the window, and that should give you a bit more space to get your hand in there. But I'm gonna give it a try with the window down. All right, so now that the bolts are out, you can reach in there and pull on the door check. Oh, there we go. Pulled on the door check, and it just came through. So hopefully there's enough room here past the window. Yeah, perfect. All right. So here's the old one. So it's looks the same. It's just in a different position because how it broke with the door in the closed position. So this is the open position. So this will be good because I can use this in the open position to feed into the hole at the end of the door there, and then hopefully set those 2 screws that you see where they need to go. So I'll try to do that without rolling up the window since it's already down, but I should be able to do it. Okay, so I was able to get it in with the door down. So what I did was I took this hand and fed it through, and then with the other hand, which is why I couldn't actually video it, I was able to put 2 fingers through this hole and then grab the end and then pull it through. So once you get this this little arm through, then you should be able to guide it with your other hand to get these two bolts we're talking about to sit in place. So now that that's done, I guess we just go in reverse. So we'll put the two bolts on the actual piece in here, and then we'll go ahead and put these two bolts on, and then we'll put the door panel and the speaker back, and then we should be able to test it out. All right, first thing I'm going to do is actually put the bolts in here and hold it on, so that way when I do go and try to put the nuts on the other end, that thing doesn't want to try to push through. So we'll hold it on here first, and then we'll go ahead and we'll put the other nuts on and tighten that down. So before I put these bolts in, I did notice that they do have some Loctite on them from the last time they were installed. So I'm just going to do that again, little Loctite around them before I. All right, so now that we got these two bolts on and in place, the next one is going to be to tighten those two up. So I just put them on, finger tight, and then I wanted to show that the deep socket. So again, I'm using a 10mm deep socket. It does fit in here and onto the bolt. So you can just go ahead and crank those down and then move on to putting the speaker back in. So now I got the speaker, and what I want to do is just go ahead and put the speaker back in place. So we'll connect that wiring harness. There's a little gasket going around the outside of this, or the inside of the speaker, so just make sure you put that back in place too. Helps a little bit with any kind of vibration coming from the speaker. And then we'll go ahead and put the 4 bolts in holding the speaker, and then we'll move on to the electrical connections and putting the panel back. All right, so we got those 4 bolts in, we got the speaker back to where it was, did the connection inside, so now you can fold this little protective membrane thing down, and it's got some sticky stuff on the back side, so it should hold itself in place. So that part's done with the speaker, and then we can start working on getting the panel back on. So before you put the panel back on, just make sure you pull all the, if any of these are stuck the way mine are, just go ahead and pull those out, because you got to put them back into the panel. They have a little holder for the panel, so go ahead and pull those out and then get them in the panel. All right, so I got all my fasteners back into the panel where they're supposed to go. You can see them sticking out. So now the next thing to do is to connect those wiring harnesses back in. So again, I'm going to use 2 hands to connect those, but I'll show you that in one. Okay, so all the harnesses are in place. We connected this one here, this gray one here, and then right down here, this green one. So those are all snapped into place. Don't forget this little connection right here. There's a little metal tab that connects to that plastic piece on the door and just holds the harness close so it doesn't vibrate around while you're driving. So now we're gonna go ahead and start working our way around and popping these little plastic rivets in place. So we'll start doing that. I just wanted to note before that the handle right here needs to go on this side of this bracket. So that's probably the first thing you have to do. Just go ahead and put the handle on the inside of this, and then you can start working around the rivets and pushing those in. Okay, so there it is. The handle is on the now outside of the door panel bracket. So as you can see, you can now start, get from the top here, lining up the rivets with the holders that they go into here, and just start working your way around the car. I'm going to go from the top down, see if that's the best way. I think it is. That's kind of how it came off. I went from the bottom up. So we'll go ahead and work from the top down, put it back together. All right, so I got most of them lined up. And now just gotta go ahead and push them in. Give them a good smack going all the way around. And that'll make sure that they're sitting where they need to be. Okay, and then the last thing is to start putting in the remaining screws. So we'll go with this one right here behind the door handle, and then we'll put this piece of trim on, and then we have the screw over here, and then we have the 3 that go across the bottom. All right, so here's the first one. We'll go ahead and put that in place. All right, so we got that one in, and then we'll go ahead and put this long one here into the side. So that's in place, and then we got the 3 on the bottom. I almost forgot we've got the 2 in here. There we go. So let me go ahead and put those in too. Keep that open. Just need 2 hands to get in there. All right, so we're just about done. I think the last thing is just getting this piece of trim back on. Very simple. Just slide it in where it needs to go. Oops. Make sure you get the tabs in first, and then just push on this end, and it clicks into place. So there you have it. Everything is done. The door check is now installed and replaced. Let's see. So now at least I've got, it'll hold itself in this position, and that's the widest it'll go, where before it was going even a little bit further, but it would just swing freely without any resistance, which was difficult in tight places when a car is right next to you. So that's it. We changed out the door check on the driver's side. So altogether it probably took maybe an hour and a half. All right, hope it helps.